أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ليس عليكم جناح أن تبتغوا فضلا من ربكم فإذا أفضتم من عرفات فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام واذكروه كما هداكم وإن كنتم من قبله لمن الضالين ثم أفيضوا من حيث أفاض الناس واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم. فإذا قضيتم مناسككم فاذكروا الله كذكركم آباءكم أو أشد ذكرا فمن الناس من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق ومنهم من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار أولئك لهم نصيب مما كسبوا والله سريع الحساب واذكروا الله في أيام معدودات فمن تعجل في يومين فلا إثم عليه ومن تأخر فلا إثم عليه لمن اتقى واتقوا الله واعلموا أنكم إليه تحشرون. صدق الله العظيم. Inshallah, we'll be continuing from ayah 198 of Surah Baqarah until 202. Inshallah, if Allah gives the tawfiq. So, laysa alaykum junahun, where we're beginning from. And there's nothing wrong if you also seek the bounty of your Rabb during the pilgrimage, during Hajj. Moreover, when you return from Arafat, stay at Mash'ar al-Haram. We'll talk about what Mash'ar al-Haram means. And remember Allah as He has guided you, for you had gone astray before this. Then return from where others return and ask Allah's forgiveness. Most surely He is forgiving and perpetually merciful. And when you have performed your Hajj rites, remember Allah as you had been remembering your own forefathers, or even with greater zeal. Some say, Our Lord, give us all the good things here in this world. Such people shall have no share in the hereafter. Just a disclaimer, this page has two Rabbanas on it, right? ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق. And then ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. You know, some people, the thought is that every ayah that has Rabbana in it, it's a dua. The first one is not a dua. Do not make the dua. They do not make dua with ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق. We'll talk about it later. And as I mentioned that, I'll tell you something else too. I remember when I was doing his, my teacher, he told me he read this ayah. وَإِن كُنتُم مِّن قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الضَّالِّينَ ayah 198. When he read it in Tarawih, and he said somebody in the back said Ameen. Then the laugh is funny. But then it happened here a few years ago too in Tarawih. So then okay, after that. وَمِنْهُمْ, then there are others who say, Our Rabb, give us what is good in this world and also give us what is good in the hereafter and save us from the torment of the fire. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا كَسَبُوا. Such people shall have their due share, and Allah is according to what they earn. And Allah is swift at settling accounts. So pass these few appointed days in remembering Allah. Then there is nothing wrong if one hastens on after 2 days or stays there a day longer, provided that he spends these days in piety. Do not disobey Him, and remember that one day you shall be gathered before Him. So first, inshallah, before continuing, alhamdulillah, it's so nice to see regulars back, mashallah. And I have one question before we start today. The question is, how many people here have performed Hajj? Because many of the ayat we'll be speaking on is like, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know you performed Umrah. I see all the pictures on your WhatsApp, right? So, anybody else? Mashallah. Yeah, Nizami, mashallah. Shasa. So, Miss, you've done it? Shahid, you've done it? So, mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you done it? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your Hajjis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it seems like nobody is going this year from this community or from many communities. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it such that we're all able to go soon, and those who haven't performed Hajj, rapidly changing. So I'll mention what's the masala, what's written in the books, but practically, you guys may have to correct me, no, they don't do that anymore. No, you don't go to this place, you go this place. Logistically, it might be changing right now, if you've been more recently than me, right? So last week, we started talking about Hajj, and we transitioned from the discussion of Umrah to Hajj. So 2 weeks ago, we spoke about ihsar, the masala of ihsar, when somebody puts on an ihram with the intention of Hajj or Umrah, and for some reason they're prevented from performing their Hajj or their Umrah, how do they get out of ihram? And it shows the timelessness of the Quran, that a masala like that, you think, why is it in the Quran? And we see that in 2020 it occurred to many people. They put on their ihram for Umrah and they weren't able to complete it due to the lockdown, right? From there we transition into that Hajj because the ayah was long, and in that ayah we discussed how the ayah was interconnected, how it naturally flowed from Umrah to sacrifice to Hajj. So yesterday we spoke about, or last week we spoke about the do's and don'ts of Hajj, the months of Hajj. What are the months of Hajj? Somebody tell me. Zulhijjah, obviously. And what are the other 2 months of Hajj? Dhul-Qa'dah, and one more. Not Ramadan. Shawwal. Right when Ramadan ends, the months of Hajj begin. Right? So Shawwal, Dhul-Qa'dah, Zulhijjah. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls them months, and we say 3 months of Hajj. But the reason is Shawwal and Dhul-Qa'dah, they're full months. Dhul-Hijjah, those first 10 days, they have so much barakah that you get the reward of 1 month. And in fact, those months of the months of Dhul-Hijjah are coming up, that the first 10 days, those are the most beloved days to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the calendar. The days of Dhul-Hijjah are even more beloved to Allah than the days of Ramadan. Whereas the nights of Ramadan are the most blessed of the year. The famous hadith in which Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrates it, I believe it's Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مَا مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَن يُتَعَبَّدَ فِيهِ, that there's no days in which Allah being worshipped is more beloved to Him than these days, meaning the days of Dhul-Hijjah, 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah. Fasting of any of those days is equivalent to 1 year of nafil fast, right? Now look, we say that if you fast the 6th fast in Shawwal, you get the reward of 1 year. Yes or no? Yes. Do those 6 days equal 1 year? No. Those 6 days, they equal 60 days. 60 days, right? So Ramadan, you fasted 30 days. So you got the reward of 300 days of fasting. Because in the Quran, مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ فَلَهُ عَشْرُ أَمْثَالِهَا. Whatever good you do, you get at least 10 more. Then when you fast 6 more days, that's 60 days. 360, that's 1 year, right? But this from 1 day that you fast in Dhul-Hijjah. And you don't have to search for any of these days, right? One of the first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah, 9 days of Dhul-Hijjah, if you fast, you get the reward of 1 year of fasting, right? Along with that, the nights that you worship, you get the reward of worshipping on Laylatul Qadr. So you don't have to search for it, right? You guys say, well, then what's the point of searching for Laylatul Qadr? There's a good question. This Allama ibn Taymiyyah answers it very nicely. Because people that say you get the reward of, when you read Qul Huwallahu Ahad, you get the reward of the entire Quran. What's the point of reading the Quran? If you get the reward of Laylatul Qadr for worshipping on the nights of Dhul-Hijjah, why look for Laylatul Qadr? The thing is, yeah, the reward is the same, but there's different types of reward. So let's say that, Brother Izzuddin has $1,000, okay? You have $1,000 cash, right? And along with that, you have a car that's worth $1,000. We know your cars, they're better than $1,000. But let's say you have a car worth $1,000, right? And along with that, you have $1,000 worth of food, right? All of them are equivalent, but they're of different classes and different types, right? Each of them serves a different purpose, and you need all of them. Will that $1,000 do you any good if you're hungry and you're locked down and you can't go anywhere? No, you can't eat it, right? Will the $1,000 of food do you any good if you're stuck at a toll and you don't have, $2 worth of change to get through? It won't do you any good, right? Similarly, we need to seek out every different type of reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put for us. Remember, this whole picture of a kamil Muslim, right, of a person, each of our ibadah, each of the actions that are prescribed to us, they all have a soul. They all have a desired result, right? And in doing that, if we're just to look at it from a numbers perspective, maybe this is equal to this, this is equal to this. When you look at it in terms of effect, gain from that reward, you see you get one piece to this puzzle of being a kamil Muslim. So fasting gives you one thing, right? Qurbani gives you one thing. Salah gives you one thing. So for example, from fasting you achieve taqwa. From salah you achieve dhikrullah. From qurbani you achieve the spirit of being willing to give up everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zakat has the effect of purifying greed in your heart. When you put all of these together, forget about the number, the quantity of the reward. Look at the type and the quality. When you put all of these pieces together, then you have a common meaning. Okay? So anyway, that's the first 10 days of Zulhijjah. So the months of Zulhijjah, Shawwal, Dhul-Qa'dah, Zulhijjah. And if a person were to put on the ihram of Hajj before these months, there's ikhtilaf amongst the ulama. Some say that your ihram doesn't count for Hajj. The Hanafis, they say that it counts but it's makruh. So practically it shouldn't be done. In Shawwal or Dhul-Qa'dah or Dhul-Hijjah, people should put on the ihram. Keep in mind, remember before, it wasn't like Hajj was in a 2-day journey, a 2-week journey, right? It was a long journey. Sometimes people put on the ihram earlier. Okay? We talked about the do's and don'ts of ihram, and we spoke about what is real trust in Allah. And from there, that ayah ends, and the next ayah is also related to it. So I'll just recap on that. So the people that would come from Yemen in the time of Jahiliyyah to Hajj, they used to call themselves mutawakkil. That we are mutawakkilun, we are the people who have trust on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they'd leave for Hajj without any money, right? And along the way they would beg. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, you shouldn't do that. فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى وَتَزَوَّدُوا. Have provisions. فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Because the best provision or the result of packing provision is that you don't have to ask in front of people. Putting your hands in front of people, as we'll speak about today, inshallah, in Rabbana Atina Fid Dunya Hasana, that is a means of degrading yourself. And putting your hands in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a means of honoring and raising yourself, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, pack, take provision. It's not trust to go ask people. What is trust? Trust is having all the means in front of you and still acknowledging it's from Allah, it's not from me. فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ زَادِ التَّقْوَى وَاتَّقُونِ. Fear me, يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. O people of intelligence. Because it takes a person of intelligence to realize that I have all of the means of the dunya in front of me, yet it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as a side note, this is the biggest trick of Dajjal. What Dajjal will convince people is, it's all about the means. Forget about the one who's providing and giving the means, their effect, right? Because we say that there's cause and effect to everything. So he'll say, look, all you need is the cause, you need the means. Forget about the one who's putting the effect in those things. And that's how many people have become misguided. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. Now, Ayah 198, where we're starting from, it ends with that discussion of people packing provision and coming to, that you should pack provision and come to Hajj. Now what if you don't have money, so you try to earn while you're at Hajj? Is that wrong? Or let's say that there's a person in IT and they finally have the money to go for Hajj. They don't want to delay going for Hajj, and now their boss tells them that it's a very, very busy time. You're allowed to go. You can go for Hajj, but you're going to need to be available there as well. You're going to need to be on call. Now what do? Do you wait 1 year and wait for the most ideal situation to arise, or do you go for Hajj and do you work? Well, the answer is here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He acknowledges this, because in some Hajis, they may leave their country, they don't have money per se, but they leave with trade goods. Or we could say that there's a person who's in that situation that I just described, right? But if a person leaves with trade goods, or a person leaves with their laptop, because that's what they need for work, this also counts as being prepared, because a person is adopting means in order to aid their journey. Right? And this is mentioned specifically because some people, they may be under the impression that doing business while on Hajj will lessen the reward of Hajj. As long as that's not your main intention of going to Hajj or Umrah. Like some people, they treat Umrah as a vacation, right? Meaning, even then it's good, it's better than going other places. But sometimes people, they go, gold is cheap there. Oh, I could go and I could buy this and that. And Shaitan is very subtle, right? So that becomes your main motivation in going, right? I'm the nobody here, that happens, right? Or for other people, another thing that comes in, it becomes like a source of pride that I've done this many Hajj and this many Umrah. So a person will keep pointing out, oh, on my 5th Hajj, on my 3rd Umrah, on this time, on that time. People will do things like they'll, when they put a law banning people from the same country for coming without paying a fee, they'll use double passports. I've seen it. One person, they'll have a passport from the country of origin, and they have a passport from America, and they switch passports and this and that. Why do all of these things, right? But as long as your main intention in going to Hajj is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no reduction in a person's reward. Right? So Allah says, لَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ, Ayah 190. لَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. That there's no sin to seek some bounty from your Rabb, fadl. Right? So Ayah 198 starts here. And what is the sababun nuzul? Is in Jahiliyyah times versus the time of Sahaba. So look, this ayah was revealed at a different time. But remember, I keep highlighting this. The Quran, the ayahs were revealed out of order. But Rasulullah was instructed when one ayah was revealed, put it in this place, recite it before this ayah and after this ayah. So despite the ayahs being revealed at different times, if you were to read it, that's why I always go over the connection first and mention the why it was revealed later on. You'll realize that there's no contradiction, that it fits perfectly. And that's why this is the fitna of some Orientalists. What the Orientalists, one doubt that they try to put in Muslims, and not even a doubt, one thought that they put in Muslims' minds is that, we should really try to find out the order that the Quran was revealed in. Each ayah, when it was revealed, and we need to put together a mushaf like that, right? For Orientalists, fine, this might be good because they don't believe that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the messenger of Allah. So for them, they'll say, oh, this is the evolution of a great thinker. This is what his thought process was at this time, and this is how he evolved later on. But for a Muslim, what need is there for that? First of all, the Sahaba, they said that this is impossible to do, right? Because even when we mention the direct sabab al-nuzul, sometimes you see that one ayah has many different shan al-nuzul. It was revealed because of this. What happened is any incident that was occurring around that time, the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala, they would say, oh, the ayah was revealed about this. Or, if an ayah was revealed and later on, or way back, an incident occurred for which the answer or mention of that incident could be found in the ayah, the Sahaba would say it was revealed about that, right? Because it's as if it was revealed about that. Shah Waliyullah rahmatullahi alayhi, in fact, what he says is that the fact that there's sinners in this world and there's people that do good in this world, that's enough for the shan and nuzul of every ayah, right? That there's people in need of hidayah in this world, that's enough for, this is the cause of the ayah being revealed. But anyway, what happens is, think about a person who's working, I'm nobody, but I have different projects that I'm working on, right? So okay, I do a little bit of slides here, a little bit of notes here, this, that. Everything is scattered. I write something here, I write something there, I write something there. Now if you were to come and say, okay, you wrote this on this day, and wrote this at this day, and this at this time, and you were to put it together, if you really say, Aadmi pagal hai, right? Like what is he talking about, right? But do we do that with anybody else? No. What we do is we look at the finished product, right? The Quran was revealed at separate times to address the needs of people and as a mercy on the people, so that all of a sudden everything doesn't become fard on you. But it wasn't meant to be recited in the exact order of the ayahs as they were revealed. Okay? So anyways, this ayah, it was revealed. Why? Because in the time of Jahiliyyah, in Hajj it would be like a bazaar. No bazaar lagate the, right? And so the Sahaba, they thought that trade was completely contradictory to Hajj and it would lessen their reward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that's not the case, right? As long as what do, your main intention is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One word here that we should remember. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says throughout the Quran, ibtahu, to seek, and He mentions two words. One is the fadl of Allah, fadlan min Allah, and fadlan min rabbikum. Another word is ridwan, right? Ridwan. So the word fadl, it refers to halal risk. And when the word ridwan is mentioned, to seek the ridwan of Allah, the pleasure of Allah, this means reward in the hereafter. Okay? So seeking ridwan is mentioned in the Quran, that means hereafter. Seeking fadl, this means halal risk. Because fadl literally means something extra, right? Because halal things that we get in the extra, it's all icing on the cake. The real thing is the akhirah. Okay? Now, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there's no point in a person, there's no harm in a person doing business, okay? Now the next part of the ayah that's mentioned is the wukuf of Muzdalifah, and this is wajib. Does anybody know what the wukuf of Muzdalifah is? Hajj?
You have to spend the night at
So the night in Muzdalifah is not the wukuf. Spending the night there, it should be done. But what is the wukuf of Muzdalifah? Something special. No, that's collecting the stones, right? So after Fajr, you pray Fajr in Muzdalifah at what time? Late or early? Early, right? Right when it begins. After that, until sunrise, or a little bit before sunrise, this is the wukuf of Muzdalifah. It's wajib to be there and it's wajib to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that time as well. Okay? Now I know that for some Hajj groups, because of different logistical issues, sometimes they may end up skipping Muzdalifah altogether. So the Hajj will still count because this is a wajib and it's not a fard. There's only 2 fard in Hajj. What are the 2 fard in Hajj? Somebody tell me.
Arafat.
Arafat. So much so that if a person is unconscious, what do people say? Take the ambulance and drive to Arafat. Right? So that's one fard. What is the other fard of Hajj?
Tawaf is
Yes, tawaf is ziyarah. So this is what, sometimes like women, there's a question that we get a lot, they're very worried. Like if they're on the cycle at the time of Hajj, right? What should we do if they're not, if they don't usually take birth control or pills or whatever to monitor the cycle or to adjust it, then what should we do? Do we have to? They can, that's their choice. But really there's nothing in Hajj that needs a person to be in a state of tahara except for tawaf ziyarah, right? And even tawaf ziyarah, if you make sure that your package, that you stay in Makkah late, right? If you stay in Makkah a little bit longer, even after the 12th of Dhul Hijjah has passed for a woman that has that excuse, they're allowed to do the tawaf later. Okay? Just something to keep in mind. It's something, because it's a cause of a lot of concern and a lot of worry for sisters, right? So there's just something that we can tell them. Now, so the wukuf of Muzdalifah, just an outline of Hajj, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the Hajjis, they go to Mina. And we talked about the 3 types of Hajj last time. What were they? Tell me one type of Hajj.
Qiran, Tamattu,
and Ifrad. So the people who live inside of the miqat, what is the only type of Hajj they are allowed to do? Ifrad. And people who come from outside, they can do Tamattu or they can do Qiran. And which is best? Which has the most reward? Tamattu according to the Shafi'is, and according to Hanafis, Qiran. Right? And which Hajj?
Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did.
It's very hard to Quran.
According to Imam Malik, I'll check inshallah. I'll check and I'll tell you inshallah. I'll text you tonight. It's good. But if you look, Rasulullah did Qiran. The reason that they say that Tamattu has more virtue is because he instructed others to do Tamattu. Right? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did Qiran, but he told others go ahead and do Tamattu, and he forced them to do Tamattu as well. Right? There's a hadith saying you have to do it. So people say that's more virtuous. So yeah, Qiran is harder. So on one end you could say there's more reward in that. But Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam instructed to do Tamattu, so there's more reward in that.
So those people that he forced, were they people from outside?
Yeah, they're people from outside. Everybody was coming from majority, or the people that were with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was making them do Tamattu. People that came from Medina. And so I'll leave it without saying which is better. All I'll say is that it's not a simple thing. Like what happens is, like, and I talked about this last week, is people that get very emotional, they make big statements. Oh, these people, they're not following the Sunnah. Like for 1400 years, people haven't followed the Sunnah, and now I pick up an English translation of Muslim Sharif, because Muslim has a lot of the hadith about Hajj, and now I know. So Imam Tahawi, rahmatullahi alayhi, he's written over 200 pages about this issue, arguing all angles of it. Imam Tahawi, right? And so Sheikh Muhammad Awam was great, probably the most senior hadith scholar living today. A Syrian scholar originally, he's living in Turkey right now. He wrote under this that in this there's ibra and there's abra. There's a lesson and there's tears. The lesson is, that a person should look deeply into a matter and not on the basis of just a cursory looking, I read one hadith, without examining the whole corpus of hadith and the practice of the Sahaba and the Tafseer, make just a statement and then brand others as people who do bid'ah or people who aren't following the Sunnah. Number one. And why are the tears? Is that the tears are nobody even looks into things like that anymore with that level of detail, right? So anyways, so there's 3 types of Hajj. Tamattu, Qiran are for people outside, right? A person from outside can do Ifrad if they want as well. So yeah, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the Hajis, they go to Mina. Now on the 9th, they go to Arafah. After Zawal, which is midday, the wukuf of Arafah begins and it continues until Subh Sadiq of the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. And a person needs to spend some portion of the night in Arafah as well. That's why you stay there after the sun sets. They shouldn't leave before sunset from Arafah unless there's some excuse, right? Now on the return from Arafah to Mina, the Hajis, where did they stop? In Muzdalifah, and they spend the night. Fajr is prayed at the, and when in Muzdalifah, that's where you combine Maghrib and Isha together. You pray them all. But this is an issue too. That I'll say, people like they say that in the madhabs, people they're fanatical about their madhabs, right? The Hanafi madhab is mostly based on Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu's rulings, Ali radiallahu anhu's rulings, and some of the students of Aisha radiallahu anha, along with the verdicts of Qadi Shuraih. The Maliki madhab and the Shafi'i madhab, you see, the Maliki madhab, that was the core madhab. From the Maliki madhab, the Shafi'i madhab and the Hanbali madhab, they sprouted out, right? So in Iraq, there were many madhab, they all were consolidated into the Hanafi madhab over time. So this is maybe like less than 50% of the things in the Hanafi madhab do we follow the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa. Whereas the Maliki madhab over time it split out into Shafi'i and Hanbalis and others. Okay? So the Hijaz, Maliki, Shafi'is, Hanbalis, a lot of their rulings are mostly based on Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu and Zayd bin Thabit. But to show that it's really about the research and not about I just follow this person, in this masala, as far as how different details regarding praying Zuhr and Asr together and praying Isha or Maghrib and Isha together in Hajj, the Hanafis, they take the ruling of Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, and the scholars from Hijaz, they take the ruling of Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. So it really is about what they feel is closest to the Sunnah, right? And I mentioned this on Tuesday. I'll just mention it now because we have a different group of people. Or I mentioned it on Wednesday, in that Wednesday talk that's on YouTube. You know that the real difference that comes amongst the madhabs is in terms of applying the Sunnah. The thing is, we want to look at two different areas, okay? So where these madhab, where did they emerge from? They emerged from Iraq and they emerged from the Hijaz, right? If you look at the Hijaz meaning Makkah, Medina, it was like a time capsule. It's stuck in time, and the lifestyle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam continued for many, many centuries after that, right? There wasn't too much advancement over there. One of the signs, one of the things that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned very clearly in the hadith, that's a sign of Qiyamah and that occurred within the life of the Sahaba, is that Medina by and large would be deserted. Senior people would leave Medina and they'd go to different places like Sham, right? And this happened in the life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Hijaz, it stayed really close to the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when a person reads the ahadith, oh, okay, things were like this in the life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They're like that right now. Okay, we just go ahead and apply it. And when they weren't able to apply it, they would do ijtihad, right? Now contrast that with the challenge faced in Iraq, the challenge faced in Syria. Over there, you had 1,000 years worth of civilizations and infrastructure and bureaucracy. And now the Muslims came and they take over. Now how do you tear everything to the ground and make it like another Hijaz? Or do you build upon the infrastructure that's already there, make modifications and make it Islamic, right? Umar radiallahu anhu's opinion was the latter. So that's why he sent Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu to Iraq. He sent Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu anhu to Iraq. Many other 500 Sahabas or so, they went to Iraq to make Iraq Islamic. Don't make it Arab, make it Islamic. So because of that, some people, they say, these people, they're not following the Muslim, they're not following the hadith. Yeah, because we don't follow the hadith per se. We follow the sunnah and the spirit of the sunnah. So sometimes what a person has to do is, a person goes and, because there's ahadith that are acted upon anymore, there's mansukh ahadith. So a person will go in and the scholars, they would find the illah of the hadith. Why did Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam do this? What is the principle and how can we apply it later on? Right? So if you look really, and this is like a secret, that even if you go and you ask in Saudi, they'll tell you this as well. In terms of ibadah, you can follow all of the different madhabs, right? In terms of ibadah, follow the Shafi'i madhab, follow the Hanbali madhab, follow Maliki, follow the Hanafi madhab, follow no madhab if you want, meaning follow, just follow an individual scholar, right? Follow what you find in the hadith. For ibadah, you can do that, right? But to run a government, there's only one madhab that you can run a government on. That's the Hanafi madhab. In terms of buyur, in terms of international relations, why? Because empires were run on that. The Abbasid Khilafat, it ran on that for centuries. The Ottoman Empire, it ran on that for centuries. Like if you try to give zakat according to the Shafi or the Maliki madhab, they all follow the Hanafi madhab, right? Because it's very, very complicated, right? You'll need an accountant to do your zakat, right? They're all correct. We're not saying anything is wrong. My biggest thing is what I would like everybody to do is just have understanding for one another, and also whenever we make a statement, make that statement based upon knowledge. Like don't say, oh, this person is a bid'ati, this person, like, and even within, like, you know, sometimes we think that this from Hanafis, even with the Hanafis will do this too. Like in the subcontinent, if a person is Deobandi, what is the word for bread? People say bid'ati. But they have some, it's not like their things are not based upon something. All of it comes from, you have to go back and look, okay, why did Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan, rahmatullahi alayh, why did he take the stances he took? Why did Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi take the stances he took? Why did in Africa and Sudan and this place in Africa, why did they take the stances that they took? You have to study history along with studying just the hadith and the sunnah, because these things are all needed in order to understand the Quran, in order to understand the hadith, in order to understand fiqh. It's a very, very comprehensive field. So now anyways, on the 9th they go to Arafah. And then on the return from Arafah, they stop in Muzdalifah, they spend the night. Fajr is prayed at the earliest time and the dua is made. This is the wuquf of Muzdalifah. And the wuquf of Muzdalifah is wajib. It's mentioned in the Quran, right? Is wajib for those people who don't have an uzr. They're going to say it's mentioned in the Quran, why is it not fard? I'll tell you in a minute. But now, in Muzdalifah, there's a mountain. And that mountain is named Mash'ar al-Haram. And this Mash'ar al-Haram, that's where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made his wuquf of Muzdalifah. However, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith, every place in Muzdalifah is a place of wuquf except for one. What is that? It's Batan al-Urn, right? That's what you can make it over there. Okay, then in the time of Jahiliyyah, the people would leave Muzdalifah after sunrise. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he opposed this practice by leaving a little bit before sunrise. This is the way of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. The mushrikeen made up their ways because they lost the true teachings of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and along with Allah they also worship idols. So Allah is telling us, save yourself from their incorrect practices and their incorrect aqaid. Now we'll put the ayah. Now do you understand that? فَإِذَا أَفَضْتُم مِّنْ عَرَفَاتٍ. When you surge down, أَفَضْتُم surge because so many people are leaving from Arafah. مِّنْ عَرَفَاتٍ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ. Remember Allah عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ. At مَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ. So now, فَاذْكُرُوا. The reason that it's not fard, that we say that it's wajib, yeah, it's mentioned in the Quran, but there's ihtimal. For something to be fard, right? For something to be fard, it needs to be in the Quran or it needs to be from a mutawatir ahadith, meaning its authenticity must be indisputable. And along with that, the clarity of the order must be indisputable. Like aqimus salah, pray salah, is indisputable, right? That is fard. But if there's some leeway, if there's multiple interpretations, but it's mentioned in the Quran, right? You'll say it's wajib. Or take it the other way. If the hadith, it might be sahih, but it's not mutawatir, right? And then but it's clear cut, then you'll say that it's wajib. Or if there's multiple interpretations and it's a clear cut hadith, then you'll say that it's mustahab. Okay? So anyway, Fadhkurullah can mean wuquf of Arafah, or it can mean combining Maghrib and Isha at Muzdalifah. It could mean one of the two, right? Fadhkuru, and it could just be general, that in Muzdalifah, remember Allah throughout the night. وَاذْكُرُوهُ كَمَا هَدَاكُمْ. Remember Him in the way that He's guided you. This word kama, it can be for tashbih. Remember Allah as He has guided you. Or it could be for ta'leen. Remember Allah because He's guided you. Remember Him and do dhikr and do shukr of Him. Or remember Allah in the way that He's guided you. And an important indication here when we say وَاذْكُرُوهُ كَمَا هَدَاكُمْ, worship Allah as He's guided you, is that we can't invent our own types of worship. It's commonly observed that people they begin to add things to their personal routine of zikr, and then they eventually consider those things necessary. You can do whatever you like. You could, for example, every day when I'm a lazy person, right? So what happens is, it gets hard to read Surah Mulk and Surah Sajda and everything before going to sleep. But the hadith say that to do it. So in Sunnah of Isha and in Witr, I'll go ahead and I'll read that, right? Now, if I begin to think that that's necessary and I start to tell people you must do this, that's bad. Otherwise, it's fine. I'm doing it for a reason, right? And then sometimes I'll leave it just because, right? So that it doesn't become like it's necessary. Even things that are sunnah, like for example in Witr, what is sunnah? To recite Surah Al-A'la, to recite Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun in second rakah, and read Qul Huwallahu Ahad in the third rakah. The fuqaha, they say sometimes don't do it. Why? Just so that you don't think that it's fard. Because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would do different things at different times as well. Okay? So it's just something very important to keep in mind. وَإِن كُنْتُم مِّن قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. Even though you're previously misguided, meaning you're unaware of the proper way of Muzdalifah. And Mufti Muhammad Shafir rahmatullahi alayhi, he says in Ma'arif al-Quran, additional forms of worship reflect the practice of Jahiliyyah when the disbelievers use their personal opinion and choices to concoct forms of worship. So we should agree. Okay? Now the wukuf of Arafah, it's fard on every Hajj. This is the next part of the ayah. So amongst the perversions into deen that the mushrikeen, particularly the Quraysh, added was that in Hajj, they wouldn't go to Arafah. Why? Because Arafah is outside of the Haram, right? Muzdalifah is inside of the Haram and Arafah is outside of the Haram. So they would stay in Muzdalifah and they would say that we don't leave the Haram because we're from Hums. We're from the 5 tribes of Hums who are firm in deen. I mentioned this a few weeks ago in Tafseer with what the tribes are. If you're interested in researching, go ahead and research and tell me next week. I'll tell you if you're right or not. Right? There are 5 tribes. They say that we're very pious, so we won't leave the Haram. And in fact, we're tuqeen, we're people who live in the Haram. We live in the Haram, so why should we leave? Leaving the Haram is below our status, and we're very pious, so we should stay here. But they leave frequently for business trips, right? Allah tells them, go to Arafah like everybody else. ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ. Surge down, leave, surge down. Again, why? Because everybody is leaving there, including you. Surge down from where the rest of the people do. مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ. Now look, this is something that's interesting. Hafiz, you might like this. It's أَفَاضَ النَّاسُ, nasi. What is it in the Quran? ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ. What is it? What is it? There's a repetition there. An-nas or an-nasi? It is an-nasi. We don't know if it's a lot of places we make waqf over there, we don't remember, right? ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسُ. If you say an-nas, an-nas can have 2 meanings. The common meaning is leave from where the people live, an-nas. But some people say an-nas here refers to Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, right? The reason that it refers to Ibrahim alayhi salam as an-nas as mankind is because in Surah Nahl, Allah says, Inna Ibrahim kana ummatan qanita. Ibrahim alayhi was an ummah and a nation unto himself. That's why Ibrahim alayhi he left from here. So you leave from the place Ibrahim, an-nas, Ibrahim left, right? Because remember, alif lam doesn't just mean the. Alif lam, there's 4 types of alif lam. Alif lam istighraqi, alif lam ahad zihni, alif lam khariji, ahad zihni khariji, and alif lam jinsi, right? So then, but some of the tabi'in, they used to recite it with a different harakah. Sometimes in a different qira'ah, you have different harakahs. Maliki yawmiddin, Maliki yawmiddin. So Sa'id bin Jubayr, rahmatullahi alayhi, he used to recite this as ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ. And an-nasi means the one who forgets. So he said it's referring to leave from the place where your father, Adam alayhi salam, the one who forgot where he left from. Meaning he would also leave from, he would also go to Arafah and he would leave from there. ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ. Right? This was qira'ah Sa'id ibn Jubayr rahmatullahi alayhi. ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ, and ask forgiveness of Allah. He is the most forgiving and most merciful. Right? So Aisha radiallahu anha she narrates, it's recorded in Muslim, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there's not any day in which Allah sets free more servants from the fire of Jahannam than the day of Arafah. He draws near, then he praises the people to the angels and says, what do these people want? The angels said, they want forgiveness. So Allah says, be my witness, I forgave these people. But now after leaving Arafah, Allah says, do istighfar again. So why? You're already forgiven. So even though Allah's forgiven the people in Arafah, we're constantly in need for forgiveness. The way that we are, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a practical example. After salah, what is the first thing Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said? Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. You just did a good deed, why are you doing istighfar? Right? To remind yourself that there's always need for istighfar. And there could have been some deficiency in our deed. So even then, just like that, when you finish the deed of Arafah, make istighfar. Another benefit of going to Arafah, what's another benefit? Is that it highlights the universal nature of Islam and our equality in terms of our humanity. The thing that makes us better or worse than one another is our taqwa. Right? But in terms of humanity, we're equal to one another. So the purpose of Quraysh not going to Arafah was to highlight their importance. Now why is Arafah called Arafah? Does anybody know? Huh? The mountain is called Jabal al-Rahmah, the mountain of Rahmah. So why is it called Arafah? different opinions. Some scholars say that it's a place where you get to know your Rabb. Arafah means to recognize, right?
Yeah.
So it's a place where you get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making dua. This is why it's Arafah. And people say that Muslims of different areas, they meet one another there. That's why it's Arafah. Our third reason, people say that Adam and Hawa alayhi salam, they were reunited there. When Adam alayhi salam came down to the earth, where did he come down? Does anyone know?
Tradition of Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, right? That's what it says in books of history. And where did Hawa radiallahu anha come down? Jiddah, right? That's why it's Jaddah, grandmother. That's what it means. That's where she came down. So they're separated. And where did they meet? They went ahead and they met in Arafah, according to some traditions, right? So now the rest of the actions are from Ayahs 200 to 203. You guys tell me, should we keep going or should we stop? A few people here. What do you guys think? Keep going or stop?
Keep going, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, actually.
You guys enjoy? Is that what you good? Abdullah, you good? You good? Habiba? Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the rest of the actions to be performed at Hajj. Ayahs 200 to 203, they describe the rest of the tasks that need to be done in Hajj. After returning from Muzdalifah to Mina, where do the Hajjis go? Before that, what do you have to do? On that day,
You have to go to Rami.
Rami.
Yeah.
And do you stone all of them or do you stone just one of them on that day?
Just one.
Just one on the 10th, right? The big one, right? So then you go to stone the Jamra of Aqaba. And the time for this is from Subha Sadiq on the 10th of Zulhijjah to Subha Sadiq of the 11th of Zulhijjah. Subha Sadiq meaning when Fajr starts, right? Okay, then the Qarin and the Mutamattir, they perform their Qurbani, right? The one who does Ifrad, they don't have to do it with Udhiyah. They don't have to sacrifice an animal. But the Qarin, according to some of the scholars like Imam Shafi'i, they're doing this because they have, it's like a dam, because they combine two ibadahs in them.
Yeah. A side question, you just mentioned sub. So what is the difference between sub and fajr and which one is fard?
Between sub and fajr?
Yeah.
They're interchangeable words.
So sometimes people say, fajr is sunnah because you say, what is the salah name? Salatul Fajr, that's like, the first two rakat, Fajr is sunnah, then sub is the fard.
Oh, no, so the terms are interchangeable. Like in the Isha, when you look for the ahadith, in the hadith sometimes, what is the other word used for Isha? Atama. Atama is also used in the hadith for Isha. It could be, maybe, according to the Malikis, it could be that, Wallahu Alam, but the term Salatul Subha and Salatul Fajr, they're interchangeable terms for all intents and purposes. Right? So now the dam, it's according to the Shafi'is, meaning the fact that it's dam means you can't eat from it. According to the Hanafis, the qurbani that you do is shukr, that Allah allowed me to combine two ibadah so you could eat from it as well. That's the only difference. Then after that, you shave or you trim the hair and you get out of ihram. And now all of the restrictions of ihram are lifted except for marital relations. So then, tawaf ziyarah is performed. And if I remember correctly, tawaf ziyarah, the order can be different. Like tawaf ziyarah, three things. Yeah, the three things need to be in order: Rami, Qurbani, and then the shaving of the head. But Tawaf Ziyarah can move around, right? So Tawaf Ziyarah is performed. The time is up until the evening of the 12th of Zulhijjah, unless there's an excuse that we mentioned earlier. And after this is performed, marital relations are permissible as well. You're completely out of it. Then the days of Mina. What are the days of Mina? 11th, 12th, and 13th are known as Ayyam Mina, the days of Mina. On the 11th and 12th, stoning of all three pillars is wajib and is done after Zawal. And if one wishes to do Rami on the 13th, they can do it before Zawal, right? So if a person leaves Mina before Maghrib of the 12th of Zulhijjah, then they don't have to stay for the 13th. But if you stay after Maghrib, then you have to do Rami on the 13th, but you can do it before Zawal, like do it early in the morning. What are the days of Mina supposed to be spent in? Dua, zikr, takbir, and ibadah. In the days of Jahiliyyah, what do? They used to do musha'ar, right? They used to just give poetry and they would praise their forefathers. It was a big party. So the azkar of the Muslim should be louder and more prominent than what the people of Jahiliyyah used to do in Mina. And sometimes Mina, it does become like a party after Hajj, everybody is relaxed, right? Allah is reminding us, remember Him. And what is one of the most important things to do at this time? It's dua. You just performed Hajj, you came back from Arafah, you're clean like a newborn baby, your du'as are accepted. Make dua, make dua, make dua. But the people of Jahiliyyah and many people today, when they make dua, their dua is strictly for the dunya. But they're going to get whatever is destined for them. And they have no share of the akhirah. One advice that I have for all of you, and I hope I can put it into practice. Any time we make dua for something in the dunya, couple it with something in the akhirah. Make dua that Allah gives you a house, right? Oh Allah, give me a beautiful house, and Allah give me a palace in Jannah too, right? Oh Allah, let me have biryani tonight, and oh Allah, give me the food of Jannah as well. Oh Allah, make my wife and my children, and for sisters, my husband, make them be, make them listen to me and make them be good and everything, and reunite me with them in Jannah. Right? Any dua that we make in the dunya, really we could find, if we were smart people, we could use our mind and we could apply it and connect it to the akhirah as well. If we do this, you'll see that even when we ask for the dunya, we're connecting ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so we should try to do this. But the people who are connected to Allah, they make dua for the good of the dunya and the good of the akhirah. So then they will get whatever they want, whatever they're supposed to from the dunya, and very soon they'll receive their reward in the akhirah as well. Because Allah's accounting is very swift, and the day of judgment is near, very near. Right? So ayah 200. So this is the summary. Here's the ayah. فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُمْ مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. Then when you, on the 10th of Zulhijjah, have completed your task of Hajj, meaning you've done your rami, like the stoning, and you shaved your head, and you trimmed your hair, and you sacrificed the animal, and you did tawaf ziyarah, فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَاءَكُمْ. Remember Allah in Mina, during the days of Mina, how you used to in Jahiliyyah, remember your forefathers through poetry of praise. أو أشد ذكرى, or even more, make dua. Allah is the creator, and in a blessed place such as Mina, remembering one's forefathers is of no avail. What's that going to do for you? Right? And another thing that we could take from that is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds you of your forefathers, you think that, okay, my forefathers, mashallah, they did so much for me, then think about how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did for us. Now, in that last ayah, in ayah 199 that we just recited, in the previous section of the ayah, we're still in ayah 200, Allah commands us to make dhikr and remember Him. So there's three types of people who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, three types of people who make dua. And you guys tell me which is the best. Number one is the one who makes dua only for the dunya. Number two, the one who makes dua for the dunya and the akhirah. And number three is the one who only makes dua for the akhirah. Which is the best out of the three?
The middle one, dunya and akhirah.
Middle one, not number three. Right? But number three isn't even mentioned in the ayah. Why? Because it's very rare and it's not praiseworthy. In fact, it's disliked in our deen. Because why? We're weak and we're not independent from the needs of this world. And our abdiyah, our servitude to Allah demands that when we ask from Allah for something as small and seemingly insignificant as fixing the strap on our sandal. That's what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. Because the things in the dunya that we have, this is something, and keep this in mind. The things that we have, we should value them. Right? They're not small. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would get something, what would he do with that thing? You really know?
He will thank Allah.
He would name that thing. Right? He would name, like the cups, look at the hadith. His different cups had like a title or a name. Plates, pieces of clothing, animals of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He would name them. So if you want to follow Sunnah, name your car, right? But why? This is showing that thing has some value. If something doesn't have value, why are you going to take the time to name it? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would love the things that he had because Allah gave it to him. Right? So the things of the dunya, they're to be valued as well. We need them, right? And make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them because nothing is insignificant. We think it's insignificant, but it's not insignificant. And even for those small things that we think are small, make dua to Allah. And we were created to ask from Allah. So the Anbiya alayhi salatu was salam, their sunnah was that they would seek help and protection from Allah from all sorts of problems, from both dini and dunyawi problems, so that they would be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in peace. And remember, asking from Allah is an honor, and asking from man, it's a means of disgrace. The more one asks from Allah, the more that they gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the more that they ask from people, the further they get away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the more disgraced you look in front of the eyes of people. In fact, in the hadith it's mentioned that on the day of judgment, the person who's in the habit of begging, they'll come on the day of judgment and the flesh on their face will be eaten up, or it won't be there, it will be deformed. Does the person disgrace themselves in front of people through begging? We're not talking about people who are in dire straits, right? We're talking about people who are career beggars. We've all seen people like that. Okay? So now as for the one who only makes dua for the dunya, فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا. From amongst the people there are those who say, "Our Rabb, give us from the dunya." They don't ask for hasana. Why? They don't care if it's good, bad. We just want dunya. We don't care if it's good or bad. We just want quantity. We don't care about quality. So Allah will say, Allah says, "Yes, you remembered me." If you guys say, "Well, I'm still making dua." Yes, you remembered me and you asked of me, but you came to my home and you didn't demand me from me. You remembered me and you asked of me, but you came all the way to my home and you didn't ask for me from me. You didn't ask for me. Right? وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَقٍ. Because of this, they have no portion of the akhirah. That's why I said, don't make this dua. Right? They'll get what's destined for them from the dunya anyway. Then, on the other hand, there's some people who are so focused on the akhirah, they turn their dunya into akhirah. They say, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنًا. Okay, somebody translate this for me. I'll give you a new translation today. What does رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنًا mean?
Give me good from this life.
Give me good? So, what we could translate it as is, "Oh Allah, give us such good that's beyond our wildest imagination and a means of your pleasure." You know why? Because the word hasana here, it's nakira, it has tanween. And tanween, when something is nakira, it's something that's unknown. So give me a known, it's wide, it's vast, and it's unknown. So Allah, give me some good that I don't even know about and I can't even imagine, rather than just good, right? وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنًا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنًا. Give me the same type of good, beyond my wildest imagination in the akhirah. وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And save us from the fire. This is what a person needs. Right? أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا كَسَبُوا. These are the ones who have a portion for what they've earned. They get their reward of their deeds done in the dunya and the akhirah. وَاللَّهُ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. Allah is swift in taking account because qiyamah is near. Don't be negligent of it. And all of our qiyamah, when does it occur? Our qiyamah starts when we die. Right? Like it scared me, that yesterday, my daughter, we were sitting there, I was lying on her, and she said, "Yeah, you're going to die." She's 3 years old. Who told you that? She said, "Bhaiya told me that. My big brother told me." I said, "I will, but inshallah later on." Then I'm sitting, I'm like, preparing something, and then I heard my son, he's sitting with my wife, and they're eating food. And then he said, "Will Baba be dead when Abdul Hamid is 4? My son is like less than 1. So my wife is like, "Why do you say that?" But it happens to all of us. Inshallah, we won't be dead. Inshallah, Allah keep me and all of you with health. Allah gives us long life with health and the tawfiq to do good deeds. It can happen for anyone, right? So now that's when our qiyamah starts. Very quickly wrapping this up. Rami on the 13th. This is a question that is addressed in the next ayah. In the time of Jahiliyyah, there are two opinions about Rami on the 13th of Dhul-Hijjah. Some said it must be done and leaving Rami on the 13th is a sin. Others said it shouldn't be done and doing it is a sin. Doing Rami on the 13th is a sin. The Quran clears it up. 11th and 12th is wajib after Zawal. And you have all the way till Subha Sadiq of the next day. Rami on the 13th is optional. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ. And remember Allah during the appointed days. This refers to the days of Mina. Perform Rami at the Jama'ah. And Allah says, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ. Remember Allah by performing the Rami because you say Allahu Akbar, Bismillah Allahu Akbar when you throw it. And the Ayyam of Tashriq, the 10th is not included in the count of the days of Mina. Right? And then read Allahu Akbar when throwing the pebble, make other du'as as well. فَمَنْ تَعَجَّلَ فِي يَوْمَيْنِ. Whoever hastens from Mina after 2 days, they leave Mina before Maghrib on the 12th, فَلَا إِسْمَ عَلَيْهِ. There's no sin on them. وَمَنْ تَأَخَّرَ. And whoever delays, فَلَا إِسْمَ عَلَيْهِ. There's no sin on them either. They stay for the 13th. لِمَنِ اتَّقَى. On the condition that they fear Allah. Because on the last day of Mina it's empty. Sometimes people steal, or people argue, people fight, people can do all sorts of things. Have taqwa, no problem, you stay on the 13th. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا. And have taqwa of Allah, and know that you'll be gathered before Him. أَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. What? Having fear of Allah at all times is necessary. It's not just as Hajj. So Allah ends this whole discussion of the ayahs of Hajj by saying, remember Allah at all times. Hajj is a place that we reset our priorities, we refocus our life and our priorities. This is a time. Just to sum up, look, Ramadan, the ayahs of Ramadan, they began, right? and then it ended with Hajj, where we reached already. Okay? This is basically full circle it's a love story of a believer. When you fall in love with somebody, right, you begin to want to talk to them. You pray salah, right? And in Ramadan you pray salah, you pray extra salah. And then you say, I love you so much, I just want you, I'm giving up food, drink as long as I can have your love, right? This is what fasting is. And then you spend your money on the one you love as well. This is what zakat is. And then you come and you say you go to that person's house and you know, chakkar lagate apne mahboob ke ghar ke. You go and you walk around your beloved's house. Say, let me in. I want to be with you. You come, you hang from the door. You're at the door of the house. I'm here. I just want your love. I want you to accept me. Right? That's why they asked Majnun. Right? They asked Majnun, the famous story, Layla Majnun. You know, why do you walk around this neighborhood kissing random walls? He said, I don't love the walls. The walls aren't special. But this is a neighborhood of Layla. They said, why are you always petting this dog? Why are you showing this dog so much love? It looks like it's a stray dog. He said, this dog is from the neighborhood of Layla. Right? So a person, when they're showing that their love has come to its peak, when they go to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, go and walk around the house of Allah, go and touch the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's house and beg of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us complete in His love. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who love Him completely. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Thank you. This is probably in the whole week, this is the favorite thing I do.
Oh, God bless you.
You know, so I really appreciate that you guys.
May God give you long life
Inshallah.
because people need your love.
Alhamdulillah. No, I really appreciate that. You guys take the time and